Hola, mi gente. Thank you for joining another episode of Cafecito Con HOLA. Today we have an awesome topic of why people of color in leadership positions matter. And today's special guest appearance is none other than Alex Arteaga himself. Just so you remind everybody out there, this is Evelyn Fuentes and Thomas Fernandez here, and we're glad you could join us for another episode. And we figured we'd start off with a quick intro. Alex, if you don't mind giving us a brief intro and bio on yourself, that would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. Alex Arteaga, or for those of you that do speak Spanish, Alejandro Alfonso Arteaga. That would be the proper name. My mom would want me to pronounce my name. I've been with CDW for 22 years. So actually, I take that back. It'll be 22 years on Monday. So July 8th will be my 22-year anniversary. Started as an account manager, as a seller, and then, very quickly in my career realized I wanted to be a leader. And, we'll probably get into some of that here as we go throughout our conversation. But spent the last 2.5 years in PPM as a director. Prior to that, I was a sales manager for about 10 years. Before that, I was a sales operations supervisor for 4 years. And then I was an individual contributor for about 5 years. So that gives you a little bit of background on my CDW career and day job. I'm also the co-chair of HOLA, greatest BRG at CDW. And then also, fun fact, my wife also works at CDW, so it is like legitimately the family business for us.
That's awesome.
That is great. It sounds like you've had quite the career here at CDW, so it sounds like you're the perfect person to have on today's episode. And we'd like to do a quick icebreaker, actually, if you don't mind, Alex. What is your go-to coffee drink, as I just saw you take a sip of that?
Yeah, so it would be cheesy if I said iced coffee because it's the icebreaker, but I won't do that. I'm a classic just drip coffee. So I'm the person that goes to Starbucks and is like, can I just get a large coffee with, 1 cream, 1 sugar? That said, if I'm in like Miami visiting my cousins, Puerto Rico, Humboldt Park in Chicago, got to go with the classic Café con Leche, which for any of you that don't know what that is, it's basically, sugar with a side of coffee. But that's my go-to if I'm somewhere authentic.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I know Evelyn drinks coffee. What's your favorite go-to, Evelyn?
I am a Starbucks girly through and through. I have a brown with sugar, shaken espresso, always. Alex did mention the Café con Leche. I grew up on that. That was like my first coffee. I was like 10 years old probably drinking coffee, and that's how that started. So you don't drink coffee.
I do not.
Okay.
I'm more of a tea person myself, but Vacation Thomas does tend to dabble in the coffee every now and then. It's just, who I am, my alter ego when I'm on vacation. But I think that, I'm more of just a natural, energetic person. It's got to be the Puerto Rican in me.
That brings all the energy. That's all you need.
Exactly. Well, Evelyn, kick it off with the question. Let's do it.
Let's just jump right in. Alex, can you share your personal journey to becoming a director and any challenges you faced as a person of color?
Yeah. So I wouldn't say I faced any major challenges, like other people obviously in this country or globally have had to endure. So I would say I'm blessed, to work for CDW in a company that truly, since, pretty much the first days of my career, I could tell valued diversity in the workplace. But what I will say, when I started in 2002, one of the things I quickly started to observe was there was not one single Hispanic sales manager in the company. I started off as an account manager, and when I looked around, you kind of saw the same looking people, as I would always make the joke, right? And I didn't really see what I would call a diverse amount of sales leaders. And so, one of the things that I kind of vowed to myself early on in my career was, I wanted to be a leader. I kind of knew when I came to CDW, just given, previous life experiences, whether it was sports, just my upbringing in a Hispanic family, I knew I wanted to be a leader. I knew I wanted to, give back to others. And so that was one of the things I kind of told myself was, I want to be that first Hispanic sales leader. And so that was something that really motivated me to make sure that I helped pave a path for other people, that were in, what I will call it office coworker roles, that you can see people of, a darker tint in a leadership capacity. And so that was something that really motivated me. And, what I will say is I never saw it as a hindrance, which again, I commend the leadership that our organization has, because I can tell you, not everybody else can make that same type of comment.
Appreciate that background, Alex. And if you don't mind, I had one follow-up question for you. So a lot of our listeners out there may be looking at their next career move within CDW. So what would you say is a good next step for that person who might be curious about getting into leadership as it is today at CDW?
Yeah, I mean, my advice is just network, talk to people that are leaders today, talk to people that are in a supervisor role, talk to people that are in a management role, right? And ask them how they got there, right? And most people will tell you a lot of the things that they had to do, the things that they had to do to raise their hand and seek out additional responsibilities, seek out additional projects to be able to get that exposure to, one, just get visibility amongst other leaders, right? That are going to then help, promote you as someone to be a future leader, but as well just to get that experience so that when you're in an interview and you're being asked about the things that you've accomplished and the competencies and skill sets you have those real life experiences to speak to. So that'd be my advice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm sure Evelyn's going to be taking you up on that after we get off the phone call today. So I appreciate the insight there. Moving on, because I think that mentorship is really important here at CDW, especially for all of our coworkers within OLA and extending that out to everybody else as well. So how important is mentorship in advancing people of color into leadership roles? And can you share any personal experiences that you have had that have helped you in your career when it comes to mentorship?
Yeah, I mean, mentors are extremely supportive. That's the reality. They're extremely important for the sense that you've got someone there to help guide you, right? And when you're in an organization now that is as large as CDW, going on, I think we're like at 15,000 coworkers or something like that, right? And we are in 12 plus countries, I think it is, right? From like a physical office location standpoint, you need people to help guide you, right? And so what I would say is, mentors are those people to help bounce ideas off of, right? Be able to speak candidly to. The reality is, a lot of times we may not feel comfortable talking to a team member. We may not feel comfortable talking to a leader about specific, questions or things that we might be thinking of. And a mentor really is just that individual to be able to have those conversations in that closed relationship with, to be able to ask these type of questions, right? Or these are things that are a concern of, is, my color or my accent that I might have when I speak something that's going to hinder me, right? And those are people that can help guide and give you that type of feedback. I also think mentors are just extremely important in regards to giving you opportunities to showcase, the skills that you might have and help you open doors that, you otherwise might not have. Because if you've got a mentor and you're sharing what your aspirations are from a career perspective, they're going to connect you with the right people. Typically a mentor is somebody that's experienced, that's been within the organization a good period of time, and they'll know the right people to get you connected with. Maybe it's talking to other leaders or other coworkers in departments that maybe you want to better understand if that's a career move you might want to make outside of what you're doing today, or just getting you access and a network to people that, again, are going to hopefully help you continue to build your skill set and develop, in order to make sure that you are a candidate that's going to differentiate yourself and hopefully stand out from others when it comes time to, go for that next opportunity.
Absolutely. And quick and shameless plug here for our professional development committee here. There is a mentorship program that they offer. And so if anybody is ever looking for some type of mentorship or is looking to be a mentee or a mentor, I know that they do run that program and they're looking for candidates of both types for every session that they do. But just something for, for thought for everybody that may be interested in mentorship and how they may forge into the realm of mentorship as it pertains to OLA and CDW.
I don't know. I think tying it back to OLA, do you have any specific stories or anything you can relate to that OLA has helped impact leaders now? Or how has OLA specifically impacted leaders today?
Yeah, I mean, I think you just plugged one of them, right? So I think just the mentorship program that OLA started 2 years ago is a good example of, us as a board at the time, and I was a vice chair when we started this off, was just, what can we do to create more of a mentorship program? The reality is at CDW, when you start here as a account manager, for example, you hit a team, you're on there for 4 months, you go into, the residency, and then you go to your sales teams, but you never truly necessarily have someone that's kind of given to you as a mentor. You really have to personally seek that out. And I think across, most business units within CDW, that's the case. you have to be proactive in seeking out a peer or somebody that you trust and can take confidence in. And so I think, having a formalized program, right, and being able to learn from people that are in different roles, have different backgrounds, allows you to get, a more diverse view into the organization and just, again, different roles that we have within the company, which is what makes CDW so unique, right, is the ability that, you can come in here in one role, yet you have 15 different opportunities in 15 different type industries, all under one umbrella. And, it's almost promoted within our leadership team that the more diverse experience and background you have, the better. So that would be one example of, some things that I think Hola has done on top of, really focusing our professional development as well. Not only for, what I'll call office coworkers and having specific, programming and events for that population, but then also really focusing on our distribution and configuration coworkers and making sure that we're, aligning and partnering with them to make sure that we're bringing events that work around their schedules, as well as just relevant skills and development that they need in order to continue advancing their career, if it, is in the distribution center or config center, or how they can make that transition over to, office coworker type responsibilities.
So we'll skip over to the next question. This one's around representation and role models, which I think that it piggybacks off of some of the mentorship that we've been talking about here, and having a good role model to look after and model your career after. I know that you necessarily didn't have one because you were the first of your kind, but why is it important for younger employees at the company, for younger employees of color at the company, to see leaders who look like them and in top positions? And then how can organizations like CDW ensure that people of color in leadership roles are visible and accessible to people that might be part of our distribution centers or other areas of the business that don't have a direct tie-in to sales managers and sales leadership?
Yeah, I mean, really, it gives people confidence, right? And who doesn't want confident coworkers and employees? I think when you see that there are people that look like you, come from similar backgrounds as you, maybe English is their second language, it just gives you that confidence that, okay, if somebody's in that leadership level, I know the door has been opened, right? The ceiling has been broken through, and it allows you to make sure that the work you put through is going to be done so without any sort of bias or unfair treatment, based on, again, the color of your skin. So I think it's really important for, us as an organization to continue delivering and creating a diverse environment, because, it's allowing for people to really be their authentic self when they come to the office. And I don't know anybody that doesn't perform better when they can come into the office without having, anything going through their brain that's going to keep them from performing at 100% or more. So I think really it's just, giving that confidence people need to make sure that, the work they deliver is going to be represented fairly.
Absolutely. And piggybacking off of that, who would you say, and I'll toss this over to Evelyn as well, who would you both say is your current role model? It could be either personally or professionally.
Ooh, I'm gonna put
I
you
wasn't
on the
ready for
spot.
that one.
Think about that.
What about you? Toss
My
it right back.
my role model. I might get a lot of heat for this one, but I think my role model right now is LeBron James. Just the longevity of his career within the NBA, and him being a very successful professional athlete, but also a successful family man. I think that he's somebody that if I had half the career that he did, I think I'd be doing pretty well for myself. And I know he puts family first, and that's something that, as a Hispanic, I know that family is very important to our communities out there. And so modeling myself after that, I think is a great role model to have, because he instills a lot of the necessary reasons to live, or ways to live by, or reasons to live by. And so I would say that mine right now is LeBron James, and has been, but he's going to be entering the limelight of his career here soon, or exiting the limelight of his career here soon. So I may have to find another one within the next year or two.
His son's joining pretty soon.
Yeah,
though, so
exactly.
maybe that one. I don't know. I guess right now I'm really focused on David Goggins. I don't know if you guys have heard of him. He's a little bit intense. It goes with everything kind of hard. And I feel like that's how you should always attack life. His biggest thing is being uncomfortable. And a lot of the times I am uncomfortable, but I'm getting things done. So that's my life motto now, like get uncomfortable to get to the next level. And that's his biggest advice to people.
It sounds like you've read Can't Hurt Me by David
Oh, I've read all
Goggins.
his books, all his podcasts, everything.
So I'm gonna go a total cheesy route, but I'm gonna say my dad. And he's no longer with us, but I'm gonna say him because right now I've got 3 kids under the age of 9. So my daughter just turned 6 today. Exciting times. And then I've got an 8-year-old boy and a 9-year-old boy. And it is difficult being a parent, not only with 3, but obviously the responsibilities that we have at work with CDW, the responsibilities we have with BRGs, trying to keep our social calendars. And when I look back at like how my dad and my parents were in regards to raising us and just the lessons that I learned from them, the hard work ethic, getting my first job at 11, lying that I was 12 so I could be a caddy at Oak Park River Forest Country Club to make a little bit of cash and start contributing to just even the support they always gave me. Like they were the one family I could always look up in the stands for like any sporting activity. Like they were there regardless of what it was. 4:30, 5 o'clock, they made the time. And I think as our lives have gotten more convoluted and technology plays a factor, you can't disconnect from work, as easily as maybe our parents did. I try to remember that all the time of, hey, my parents were always there. So, when I'm at home with my kids, try to remember your kids the priority, right? Be there with them, be there with your family. So for that, I would say him just because that's something I'm always constantly thinking of like, all right, you can be better. Okay. Maybe don't raise your voice as often or whatever it might be. Because you got to cherish all those little moments. So
Love it. I don't think that's cheesy at all. I think a lot of people would have the same response that you do, Alex. And sounds like we shouldn't also challenge him to a game of golf because if he was golfing at the age of 12, he's probably pretty good by now.
He knows what he's doing for sure.
You know what? I'm in PPM, so it's kind of part of the role. It's part of the responsibilities. Got to have the game.
Yeah, makes
Absolutely.
sense. Yeah. Just looking to the future, how do you see the landscape of leadership evolving in the next couple years here? Do you see more Latinos, Hispanics in the mix?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would say just in general, I see it continuing to grow, and I see the playing field leveling out, right? And I think when you look at what our leadership looks like today, even specifically our EC, right? If you go to like CDW's website and you go to like our financial investors and you go to our EC, it looks nothing like what it would have looked like 10 years ago, right? You would have looked at it 10 years ago and there would have been a lot of white males in there. And you look at it today and it's a pretty good representation of what our country looks like, right? We're very well represented from a diverse leadership group. And I think that is part of what makes CDW so special and that we really are focused from a DEI, the initiatives that we're focusing on from an organization, whether it's, legacy excellence program, right? And really helping close that digital divide with, HBCUs, you name it, like we are investing in this. Our partners are helping invest in this. And so, I'm confident that it's only going to continue to get better in the future because we've already shown in the last, 15, 20 years that it's been a priority of our organization. And I think it'll continue to get even better.
So we have one call to action here. And so what is one key takeaway you hope that people that are listening to this episode of Cafecito Con HOLA will understand about the importance of diverse leadership here at CDW and just in general?
Yeah, I would say different is good. No one wants to eat the same food every day. Nobody wants to have the same beverage every day. Nobody wants to watch the same TV show over and over. So if we want creativity and, we crave diversity within our own personal lives, why should it be any different with the people that we work with or the people that lead us every single day? So, I think if we're going to continue to grow, as a company and continue to evolve who we are, right? And even just from our brand, evolution that we've had, right? With Make Amazing Happen for our customers, it takes a diverse group of leaders to do that. And we've got to continue to push and evolve and do the things that have made us uncomfortable, whether it's through acquisition and the integration of, all these organizations that we've, brought into the fold over the last 3 years. We've done that because we want to be able to be the best, IT solutions provider for all of our customers. And you can't do that by doing the status quo, right? And so I think when we look at our leadership team and the diversity that we have and need to continue to grow to strive to be the best at, we have to make that a priority. So I think that's something that, I would want everyone to walk away with is, hey, we shouldn't all want people that are just like us in roles next to us because, just because we might enjoy, the same type of, hobbies or sports or whatever it might be, more diversity that we've got, the more things you're going to learn. And, the more educated it's going to make us. And hopefully that continues to push us to be better every single day.
Alex, what advice do you have for people looking into leadership roles? Who they should talk to, where they should go, what kind of connections they should be making?
Yeah, I mean, my first piece of advice would be, talk to your leader. Any leader should be open to having that conversation. They were all in that same position at some point, right? When they realized this is something maybe I want to do to give back and help coach and develop, future talent. So I would say start with your leaders, let them know your intent, as to why you want to move into leadership. What is it that, you think would make you a good leader? And then, be open to feedback and understand, where you might be from a skill set today and where you need to potentially grow, when it comes to competencies and skill sets. As leaders, obviously, there's a lot of things that you've got responsibility for, regardless of the department within CDW. You're not only managing a business, but you're managing people, right? And you've got to make sure that, you have that skill set to be able to take on responsibilities of not just your personal, individual contributor role today, but, you're responsible for the livelihood of 5, 10, 50, 100 people, right? Depending on the leadership capacity. So, my advice is, be open to the feedback of areas that you can grow and develop, and then push your leaders to get those opportunities, right? None of us can get to where we are in a leadership capacity if we weren't given opportunities to take on projects or additional responsibilities, or stretch assignments. And so, if you're being open to asking for those, there's not a leader in this company that wouldn't support that, right? We want to make sure that we are continuing to grow that future bench of people that, are going to be my peers in a year or 2 years or 5 years. And so we're always willing to give back, or we wouldn't be, leaders, because that's what we do. We're stewards of the organization. So, really start there. And then also, people that people that you respect, that are in leadership positions, seek them out as well. Ask them what their career path was, ask them what challenges they had to overcome, what, lessons learned they have of mistakes that they made earlier in their career, whether it was becoming a leader or when they became a leader. Because all of those things are things and information and experiences that will help you grow, in just learning how you can become a better leader and the things that you need to probably do in order to be a successful leader 6 or 12 months down the road. Because most people don't just raise their hand and say, I'm going to be a perfect leader tomorrow, without having some of those real life experiences, to help them grow and make mistakes and learn from them. So that'd be my pieces of advice. And, if anybody wants to learn more, feel free to take me out for a cafecito and we can talk a little bit more of, other suggestions that I've got for you.
Awesome. Thank you.
And real quick, we got to see the mug that you're drinking out of as well, because I've noticed that there's something
It's
something
his
on
favorite
it.
mug too.
This thing is pretty fantastic. Let's see here if we can zoom it in. So that is the Golden Girls.
The
That is my
Golden
sister's
I
Girls.
love it.
mug. So, when I need to smile, I drink out of this mug, and it's kind of my pep talk. Okay, stay golden. You got this. So yeah, that is absolutely my favorite mug.
Amazing.
I love that.
R.I.P. Betty, we miss you.
Yeah. Oh.
All right. Well, Alex, we certainly want to appreciate and thank you for your time here today on our episode of Cafecito Con HOLA. And we hope that all of our listeners out there are able to take at least one little small thing away from this episode. And it's that we need more people like us, and we need a diverse leadership group to be able to make sure that we're appearing like our communities and our customers out there. And so if if you're thinking about leadership, Alex is the guy to talk to because he's been through it all. But we certainly appreciate your time again here, Alex.
Mhm.
And we look forward to another episode of Cafecito Con HOLA here in the future. Thanks to all our listeners. Evelyn, thank you again for being the awesome
Always
running mate
here.
partner that you are. And we look forward to speaking with you all soon.
Excellent. Thank you all for having me. I appreciate it. This was my first podcast experience of being in the podcast. I listen to podcasts, especially on those long road trips. So this was fun to be a part of. So I appreciate you guys thinking of me.
Awesome. And don't be surprised if we ask you to come back because you did so well this first time. All right.
I
We'll host an
appreciate the
episode next
flattery.
time.
I will take it all day.
All right.
Appreciate it, Alex. Thank you.
Thank you guys.